You'll often hear atheist critics of Christianity say that morality has been hijacked by religion. Funnily enough, these people are not so deep in their history as they are in their philosophy. Think about the ancient civilizations that used their supposed religious morality for war and evil works. These atheist thinkers borrow so much from our modern Christian worldview that they believe people just know what is good. But their morality is grounded on literally nothing. They think they know what is right due to them liking it. I'll later prove that this is the first sin ever recorded in scripture. Nietzsche even says, "You have your way, I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist." You realize what that means, right? These are the people saying that morality is defined by whatever society decides it is. What if everyone agreed murder was okay? Would it be okay? It's a genuine question. It's brought to the extreme in order to make you think. An atheist would most likely say, no one is going to think murder is okay, or at least the majority won't, because it hurts a human life. Then who decides what is good or bad for a human life? And who even decided humans have value? They certainly don't believe so. They believe you can prevent one from even being born. So much for individualism and every person deciding what is right. An aborted baby never gets to make its judgment. Genuinely, who decides what is right and wrong? The only valid atheistic worldview, if they're completely consistent, is moralistic nihilism, meaning that no matter what they do, if they murder, rape, and do as many debaucherous acts as they want, there's no meaning to it. They truly and consistently believe that there is no such thing as good or evil, and they slap those Christian words on whatever they decide they like or dislike. What if you love to bully that kid at school, or you love to shoot random people on the streets? They'll often appeal to desire and if they like doing something for if it is moral. But it should be apparent to even atheists that the human heart is wicked. Of course, they don't know what wicked means, though. The next appeal you'll hear from them is that if it hurts another person, then it must be wrong. So then they strive away from individualism and more toward the, quote, greater good of all of the human race. Interestingly enough, that is very foreign to the actual pagan or non-Christian practice. Who in history has looked out for the greater good of human race? Maybe your own tribe or clan, but no one ever just looks out for individuals stemming from their own morality. How narcissistic it is, though. Such a man-centered worldview. They'll look for their own glory in their own good, rather than what is the truth, and doing what is truly good. But that's because they don't believe there is anything that is truly good, and they certainly can't define truth. As Pilate even asked Jesus, "What is truth?" Many atheists will even admit and literally say that after leaving religion, they, quote, realize they can be the judge of what is good and bad. I genuinely heard an atheist on a video say this. Think about the implications. You decide what is good and bad? Imagine if everyone did that. Unfortunately, that's what we've come to. People can't define words. They can't justify their arguments. It's all coming from within. This is why Jesus says it's what comes from within a man that defiles him. You know what sounds really familiar? Remember the phrase of the knowledge of good and evil? That was literally the first thing committed by Adam and Eve. They were convinced that they could know what was right and wrong apart from God, to be like God. A consistent atheist is his own God. He's his own judge, his own basis, and he is the last person he'll ever answer to. The greatest temptation that Satan tries on every single human being since the fall has been to ask the question he asked in the beginning in Genesis 3. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? Did God really say you must not murder? Did God really say that he knows what's right and wrong? Did God really say that your life and breath come from him? Did God really say that baby murder is bad? They don't believe God said any of those things. In fact, they know God deep down, and they suppress the truth in unrighteousness. This is what Romans 1 explicitly calls them out for. We know that, for since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, both his eternal power and his divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood through what has been made, so that they are without excuse. For even though they knew God, they did not glorify him as God or give thanks, but they became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing to be wise, they became fools, and exchanged the glory of the incorruptible God for an image, in the likeness of corruptible man and of birds and of four-footed animals and crawling creatures. Therefore, God gave them over in the lusts of their hearts to impurity, so that their bodies would be dishonored among them. For they exchanged the truth of God for a lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. These people need to have a change of heart and be miraculously regenerated by the grace of God. How will they believe if they're not preached to? This is our job. We don't need to use eloquent words of wisdom to convert or convince these people. We must not give pearls to swines, so if they're not accepting of this message and will not take it, move on. It's not a head issue, it's a heart issue. They'll steal God's good and perfect statutes to try to blend in and claim that they can do life on their own, labeling their own actions as good, or I'm a good person. Indeed, what Paul writes is true. They show that the requirements of the law are written on their hearts, their consciences also bearing witness, and their thoughts sometimes accusing them, and at other times even defending them. Yet, in the end, they will continue doing wicked things unrepentantly. They will meet their ends with the idols that they worship. They will end up like them, not speaking, nor hearing, nor breathing. The wages of sin is death, and now is our time to take back the society and point them back to their Creator. We did not create God. He created us out of dust and bone. They have no knowledge, no love, and no truth. Only God supplies this. As a free gift, He can regenerate these souls. All truth comes from Him. It proceeds like a flowing stream of life out of the heavens. Thus, I echo the psalmist in saying, "The entirety of your word is truth. Each of your righteous judgments endures forever." Subscribe for more Christian insight into the true faith. God bless.